Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another Browns 84. Boy, it sure is a pleasure to be able to say that the Browns have won a game, and a big one at that. My, what a win can do for, well, fan spirits, team morale, and even the division standings. The Steelers lead the Central Division, as you can see, by only one game now, with Cleveland second. Cincinnati and Houston are still without a victory. The Browns defense played excellent football Sunday, making big plays and executing several takeaways. The defense actually held the Steelers to just 3 points. The Browns offense played much better ball than in the past 3 games, making several long drives and completing a number of big plays. Let's go back to the stadium for the highlights as over 77,000 fans watched in a steady drizzle on Sunday afternoon. Our ground level camera lets you see how the Browns defense started right out. Manhandling the Steelers, Chip Banks throws Rich Ehrenberg for a no-gainer. 3 plays later, it's more of the same to stall the drive as Clay Matthews comes up with this Ehrenberg fumble. After an exchange of the ball, Paul McDonald begins to surface with this bullet to Harry Holt, good for 22 yards. As the first quarter draws to an end, the Browns defense shows its stuff again as Keith Baldwin fights his way into the Steeler backfield to run down David Woodley for a loss of 5 yards. Midway in the second stanza, McDonald targets his up-and-coming receiver Brian Brennan for 19 yards. Brennan fractured his right hand during the game, and he'll be out for at least 2 weeks. The Steelers take over deep in their own territory, and the Browns defense stiffens to shut Ehrenberg down. It's this kind of defensive play that puts the Browns defense 3rd in the entire NFL. Then, McDonald's only misfire of the day as this toss for Brennan goes off his injured hand and into the arms of Sam Washington, who will take it the distance. Steelers 7, Browns nothing. That's the halftime score. The second half opens with this aerial of 36 yards to Harry Holt to start a good drive down the field for the Browns. The campaign stalled, though, on the 1-yard line, and Matt Barr boots an 18-yarder, 7-3 Pittsburgh. On the very next play, the Browns secondary rattles the cage of Louis Lips as Don Rogers causes this fumble, and Tom Cousineau makes the recovery, giving the ball back to the Browns offense. 4 plays later, McDonald finds Boyce Green wide open. He beats the blitz, and Green scampers 44 yards for the touchdown, putting the Browns on top 10-7. Late in the third quarter, following a Gary Anderson field goal to tie it, the Browns begin another march as McDonald let go with this pass to Holt, good for 31 yards. Holt will finish the day with 3 catches, good for 89 yards. 3 plays later, it's McDonald to Boyce Green, this 26-yard aerial to end the quarter. "11 seconds into the fourth quarter, McDonald lobs one into the end zone where a diving Duriel Harris makes the catch to put the Browns on top to stay 17-10. The Browns defense isn't to be outdone as Hanford Dixon causes this Woodley throw to bounce into the air, and Al Gross grabs it for the interception. McDonald proceeds to find his favorite target for the day, Ozzie Newsome, to complete this 20-yarder. Newsome has at least 1 pass now in 70 consecutive games. Scoring for the day is completed as Matt Barr splits the uprights with his 48-yarder to break out of his slump. Final score, Browns 20, Steelers 10. A much-needed victory for the Cleveland Browns and the city of Cleveland.
Well, there's a lot of fine young players there, and they now have a little bit of an understanding, those players with talent, of what we're trying to do. And the biggest thing, I think, Jim, is they've played together long enough now that they kind of have a feeling for where each other's going to be, and of course that produces efficient defense.
And we felt we had to try and run the ball, and we did that when we had to at the end of the game, and at times during the game. We felt we had to throw on first down, which we did. You don't beat the Steelers by playing conservative. We knew we had to come after them, and our receivers went up, made the great catches, and our backs ran hard, ran real hard, and our offensive line played outstanding. You know, they gave me protection, And you know, when everyone does their job, it's so nice because everything just works so well.
Everybody was determined, but you were running with a lot more effort today.
Well, I was, because I wanted to win, and you know, not just for myself, but for my teammates. And you know, when we're that close, you know, I'm gonna do all I can. I'm gonna give everything I got to level my ability in order to win the game. And I think our offensive line, which everybody said was suspect for the last 3 weeks, did one hell of a job at the end of the game, pushing the Steelers off the line of scrimmage. So that gave me the opportunity to freelance a little bit and move the ball.
The encouraging thing about it is we shut it all down. We really shut it all down. And I think that in as much as we only had 1 sack, we had about 4 or 5 harassments and 4 or 5 times where we forced them out of the pocket and just played dominating defense. When you look at it against a team like Pittsburgh that won a division last year, and you know, everybody knows their history and they're still a good team in spite of, they scored 3 points. Offensively, I think the thing that probably happened that was the best thing of all was that Paul was able to overcome that interception, which absolutely, you know, deflated everybody, and was able to overcome that, come back, and have a, you know, an outstanding game.
Incidentally, Mike Pruitt finished the day as the Browns' leading ground gainer, rushing for 83 yards. We're going to take a break now, but when we return, we'll meet another newcomer to the Browns roster. Players on the Browns' 84 roster. Tonight, we feature a rookie from the USFL, Frank Minifield. Number 31 spent his college days at the University of Louisville, where he won letters 4 years and was credited with 131 tackles. As a junior, he led the nation in kickoff returns. Following a lengthy legal battle, Frank was signed by the Browns as a free agent and comes from the Arizona Wranglers, where he played this past season. The 5'9", 180-pounder is expected to strengthen the Browns' secondary a lot.
I'm learning a lot. I think the Browns has a lot of things to offer Frank Minifield, and I think the coaching staff here at the Cleveland Browns is a very competent, and I think they're going to teach Frank Minifield a lot. The physical aspect of me transferring from USFL to the NFL, it's been kind of slow, but I believe that's expected. And the mental part is what's been the toughest. You know, we had to change from talking Spanish in Arizona to talking East Coast language here in Cleveland. I think that's the biggest thing, learning the communication system here in Cleveland. That's probably the thing that really helped me up on my transition here to Cleveland. I know it's a lot of effort put forth here in Cleveland, and I think everything gonna work out good for Frank Minifield.
Can we safely assume that Minifield will be the
Yes.
left cornerback
Yes.
from now on?
Yeah, Minifield, I think Johnson's played well. We just feel right now that Minifield is the guy that should be there. He's a fine player, and he's going to be, I think, a fine corner in this league.
When you add that extra linebacker, like the Cleveland Browns has here in Cleveland, I think you get more involved with relationships within the defense, as far as making sure you're in one spot and not in another. In Arizona, I think the area that I had to cover was much, much larger than the area that I had to cover here, and consequently, it's really necessary for me to be specific in what area of the field I'm playing in at the time. To take, for instance, on some plays we got linebacker outside of them, and I need to concentrate inside. And sometimes I got linebackers inside of them, and I need to concentrate on the outside. But in Arizona, you know, that was never like that. I always had a linebacker blitz, and I had an area. But as far as that is concerned, that was a big adjustment. The extra linebacker that's made my job more specific, and it kind of cut down on my duties.
Frank Minifield looks like he may have found a home over there. He gets a little better each time.
He sure does. He's a fine young player. He's a young player, and we're excited to have him with us.
I think the one big thing is that the players in the NFL really knows when you're vulnerable. They really understand your weaknesses, and I think they got a better understanding on how to approach that area of your weakness and to really take advantage of it. I think that's one of the biggest things. I think the skill and the effort is there on both sides of the line, but here in the NFL, I think more guys are more specialized in trying to beat someone else's weakness.
Getting back to Sunday's game for just a moment, some numbers for you. Paul McDonald finished the game with 15 completions out of 28 attempts for 293 yards, 2 touchdowns, and only 1 interception. On the other end of 6 of those passes, the leading receiver of the Browns, Ozzie Newsome. He's made more catches for more yards and more touchdowns against the Steelers than he has against any other team in the NFL, and last Sunday was no exception.
First down from the 30. McDonald has a man open. Newsome. 19 yards for Ozzie Newsome.
We thought we was going to start making football a fun game. The pressure was on us, and you know, we were really getting tense within ourselves, but we decided, hey, let's just make it fun and go out and have some fun. Play aggressive, and when you play aggressive, things happen, and that's what happened today.
Ozzie, it did seem like this offense opened up today. Instead of running on first and second down and throwing on third down, you came out winging the ball, especially in the second half, and that seemed to make all the difference in the world.
That's true. You know, we came up with a different formation this week, putting Ozzie in a different place. It prevented them from doubling me, from bringing an extra linebacker over there, and really it caused the Steelers some problems. It caused them some problems for as covering us and also for as having a force guy on the run. So you have to give a credit to our offensive coaches.
Paul made some great throws today, but a couple of them that came up completion column, you guys made some great catches. That one diving catch you made to set up a touchdown, and Harry Holt made the same kind of a catch.
That's true. Well, you know, that's what we got to do to get Paul to get his confidence so that he will make those throws, and I have the confidence in myself, and Harry's getting more and more confidence each week, which is going to help the ball club immensely. So, you know, as long as we continue to do that, that helps Paul confidence.
McDonald's been hot. Newsome out of bounds at the 20, and Ozzie has 20 more yards.
Looked like the Browns had another touchdown. You had about 10 yards of open field in front of you and nobody within 5 yards of you, and you went down. It looked to us like somebody tripped somebody. Did you trip yourself, or did they get you?
Well, I've heard that I tripped myself, and I've heard the other guy tripped me also. But it's a play that we've been working on for ever since the beginning of training camp, and one of these days we're going to hit it for a touchdown. Hopefully it'll come when we really need it.
Ozzie, I know you feel good about this one, and you played a great game. Congratulations.
Thank you, Jim.
Wide open is Newsome, 35-30, down at the 29.
Well, still to come, a preview of the Browns' next game and a visit with one of the Browns' heavy-hitting linebackers. Stay with us. No doubt the Browns have one of the premier linebacking corps in the NFL. And one of our 4 linebackers is Eddie Johnson, who's tied with safety Don Rogers for the lead in tackles and assists right now. Johnson, number 51, is a 4th-year man who played his college ball at Louisville. Eddie stepped into the middle linebacker spot last year when Dick Ambrose went out with a broken ankle. Johnson is 6'1", weighs 215, and there is no question that when a game is over, the guy opposite Eddie Johnson sure knows he was there.
Ehrenberg hauled down by Eddie Johnson. Johnson, who runs with the speed of a back, playing at linebacker. He's from Louisville, and he shot through to drag down Ehrenberg for a loss.
I think right now I'm a little bit content with what I'm doing. I want to continue to grow. This is new to me, being able to start early in the year, and I want to be able to maintain my position. I want to lead the team throughout the year in tackles, and I hope to do that.
Gillespie. A flag is down, and Gillespie dropped for a loss. Eddie Johnson spearheading that charge, number 51.
We're young. Defensively, we're a relatively young football team, and we've got to be able to eliminate the big play. I think occasionally they make the big play, and eventually it turned out to be the turning point.
Ehrenberg runs into a charged-up Cousineau and Eddie Johnson, and this crowd in Cleveland trying to do all it can to help.
Look at those Brown jerseys. Good stand-up right there. Elton Beals, 38. hammering into Eddie Johnson.
Well, I want to play the run a little more aggressively. I want to be more destructive in the middle and keep people from running and coming in the middle of the defense. I also want to make more plays. I haven't got an interception since I've been in the National Football League, nor a sack. Those are things that I want to concentrate a little bit more on and do.
Another of the Browns defensemen who played an outstanding game was rookie Don Rogers. Rogers was the Browns' first-round draft choice, and he's a real threat to opponents who dare to tread into the Browns' secondary, which is now being called Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. Don finished Sunday's game with 7 tackles and 4 assists, an outstanding performance.
I hadn't really been tested until today. They were throwing a lot of fades and testing the corners. And today was a type of game where I was able to get more and more involved with it, and I was able to come up with some outstanding plays. I feel more and more comfortable back there. Our defensive linemen are putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Our linebackers are still playing excellent ball, and our secondary is beginning to come a long ways, and we've been becoming really successful back there too. And it's giving me more and more confidence back there that I can come up with a big play, or someone else next to me can. And I'm just loose back there, like you said, and I'm playing good ball now.
Key to the secondary is Don Rogers, because he is the catalyst. We are a team, if you watch us very closely over the last 7 years, we are a team now that is beginning to have a lot of fun in terms of dominating people and being aggressive. And if you watch him during the course of the game and see some of the hits that he makes, it's been absolutely infectious to Al Gross, Frank Minifield, and Hanford Dixon. And that's an area, very frankly, as I said, 3 out of 4 of the guys are experiencing their first opportunity in the National Football League, and he's the key. And I wouldn't be surprised at some point at the end of the year that he doesn't go to the Pro Bowl. I think he's going to be a great player.
2nd and 8. Whoa, what a collision. Don Rogers and Elton Beals, helmet to helmet, and Rogers, who had a reputation of being quite a hitter in his All-American years at UCLA. The rookie really stopped Beals cold.
We stopped them on first down, which we hadn't been doing earlier in the year. We hadn't been stopping teams on first and second down. Then third down, we have to come in there and try to stop them on short situation. Today, we got them a lot of third and long situations where we were able to bring our nickel team in and put our best personnel against theirs, and we're pretty successful with that.
We've never had this before. It gets awfully difficult game in game to want to go in the middle, because there's a guy in there that's ugly. I mean, he likes to hit him. And I'll tell you what, well, we've never had that. And that's what the great Pittsburgh teams had in Mike Wagner. And I'll tell you, it is a big factor, because there's a lot of guys, if they don't want to go inside, that's a big part of offenses today. And he is doing a great job and never misses a tackle. He's a linebacker playing free safety.